Welcome to the On the Road episode. On the road, on the road, on the road. Talking about the things that we did this week. On the road, on the road, on the road. This is the On the Road episode.
Wow, that was really good. That was perfect. Hey, this is On the Road edition. We're coming to you live from Brunswick, Georgia. On this week's episode, we'll be discussing our time in Key West and Daytona. Some things that we wanted to get out there. For one, we do the podcast, obviously, this one and the Two Hippies, plus my Big E County Venture. And those, if you could go to Spotify, if you listen by Spotify or other things, if you could rate us 5 stars on those, that really helps us a lot. We do a lot of funny little videos on our Facebook page, which we'd really appreciate. If you're not liked that page yet, please do so. But if you have a lot of cool little videos on there, Tyler now is going to start putting an art, a drawing up. Those are ways. Gosh, you're right, Scott, before, because I'm usually good at this stuff. No, but some ways to really help us out, guys, which has been awesome so far, is like if you could just share one of the videos that we do that makes you laugh a little bit, or Tyler, and be like, and then add like, hey, these guys are on this crazy trip across the country doing comedy. Even just sharing a little video and saying that might get someone to watch it and then check us out. Tyler's selling a lot of art, which is helping us fund stuff. Scott does tarot card readings as well, that we've had people reach out to him already and do some of those. So those are ways, like the tarot cards and the art are definitely ways that you could support us, while also maybe feeling like you're getting something back versus just giving us money, which we will take, though. Scott wanted to say something, it looked like, to me, or no?
No.
Okay, sorry. You had the face.
Don't put this on me.
You had the face that looked like you wanted to say something for what? Because I thought maybe because I mentioned the cards, I didn't know. But anyway,
no.
But anyway, also I am we do have the Venmo, which is my name, Eric, ERIC, Frank, F as in Frank, ADIE, or you can always get a hold of us in any way. If you want to give money, we'll make it happen, obviously. We put out a few shows a week. This one is a Two Hippies, One Drunk on the Road. We do the Two Hippies, One Drunk regular show on Wednesdays, and I'll be returning with my Big E Comedy Venture next Monday. So anyway, going forward, also, we're going to get a little more structure with some of the stuff we put out. As I said, Tyler's going to do an art piece once a week. I'm going to do my little funny videos that I've been doing that we're going to call On the Road videos and stuff like that. And Scott's been writing now a daily log of what we're doing to give you guys more of a day-to-day of what's going on. So that's stuff that you can go to social media page and anything on there that you maybe find funny. If you laughy emoji, that'd be a hint that you found it. I'm not a smart guy, but it would really appreciate if you could maybe share that. Again, that's a way that can help us out even without giving it. Okay, here we are on the road. We left you at the skankiest hotel that I think for sure I've ever been to.
It's ever skanked.
From hell to paradise, I guess, is we went from this hotel that was just terrible.
Yep.
And
mobsters buying hookers.
Right.
Left there, and
and then headed down the Keys to the Key West.
Mobsters failing to buy hookers.
Yeah.
Attempting.
They did not get the hooker. It did not work out.
No, it did not work out for Tony. But but then we headed down the Keys, and something that I finally realized that we were on this trip, but I did not know going in. I remember thinking I wanted to go to we went to the Key West because I became a fan of Jimmy Buffett 5 or 6 years ago and really want to go to Key West. Not that the Key West isn't beautiful, but for what we're doing, it's quite an excursion. There's gas money, expensive to stay there, expensive to do. But we went down basically on my my want to see the Key West. So we have Jimmy Buffett over that. But I didn't realize how long it took. Like it took us 4 hours because of traffic, but even without traffic, go ahead.
I was just going to say that we also did that wetlands area.
Oh, shit.
Park,
Everglades.
The Everglades.
Great
Which
point.
was really awesome. I was just going to say we actually got to see Alice and like a bunch of wildlife there. Like we were not expecting it. And it was like right when we walked in too. I thought it was going to be a little while before we actually saw something like we have to.
Yeah.
It's like the first thing we saw was a eye.
No, that was incredible. I mean, to me, I've been to the Grand Canyon before. That was my favorite national park. I think we've been to it all. There were so many animals all over the place.
No, I'm glad you remember that, dude. It just shows you, like, we talk about this. We really do a lot of stuff, and we sometimes forget it. And we even had a pre-show meeting talking about, okay, what did we do? What did we do? And I completely forgot. And not only did we go to the Everglades, but you're right. Like, we're like, oh, hopefully we maybe see an alligator. And we saw like 4, plus several other interesting birds and whatnot. Sorry.
Snapping turtle.
Snapping turtle.
Yeah, it was almost immediate. We saw them pretty much the entire time we were there, all over the place. We talked about how much did you end up saying it would have taken you to run?
Oh my God,
20 feet into that water and back.
Thousands of dollars.
Yeah, thousands.
I mean,
Thousands.
thousands of and one of them was where I think the thing was you had to run to this point where you couldn't see the trail anymore. That might have been. That might be in the 10,000s.
Yeah. You're getting
if not higher.
Because it's snakes, it's spiders, it's leeches. Yeah.
An alligator, dude.
Full on huge.
We saw alligators right by the path.
Yeah.
What do you think they're doing?
In there.
A good 50 yards off, like
eating people.
Do you guys think you could fight an alligator? Like one alligator?
One of those baby ones we saw at the at the visitor.
We talked about this when we were there, but I feel as though if I was in the water, it'd be questionable. If I'm on land, I'm getting messed up, but I'm gonna walk away from that.
Okay.
I think Scott has a very, very delusional belief he could beat an alligator, in my opinion.
Pay us money and we'll have Scott fight an alligator.
You could have proved it. You had your chance. You made all these claims.
Yep.
No, I'm in the same boat as Tyler. I think in the water, he's got a good chance.
They got
a good chance.
Yeah.
He's got a great chance. You do.
Yeah.
This is not specific to me. I think you could beat an alligator. But I think they're bitches more than you realize.
There's a difference. If you're talking, somehow we got on the path, you feel like a little surrounded. I think that maybe, yes, you could lean back, kick one in the face, and maybe get away. Yeah. You fall off the path. You fall off the path a little bit to that one was taking a nap. I mean, I'm not saying you're definitely dead, but those chances are much more slim.
And it depends on where they bite you. I would say, like, they get an artery, you might die. Like, they take a chunk out of your leg or something.
Like I said, you disrupt that dude's nap that we saw. I don't know, man. I know how I am when I wake up from a nap. And I'm not an alligator.
Yeah.
I think if there's any alligator I could beat up, it would be the one napping. Get the jump on him.
I really feel like
you hit that once, and Eric's right. It goes hog wild on your ass. You're not going to hit it hard enough to knock it out. No. You could fight it off and run. That's what I would say. Not fighting and winning. Beating up an alligator.
Your only way, like that's really the reality of it. Even when you say getting away, I think your only chance, even if you fall down there, one good kick to the and then hopefully you climb up that thing without any problems. Otherwise, you're fucked.
Okay, I think we would all probably win is entirely dependent on a kick lands. You're gonna get a kick, and if you get a kick and it lands, hits him good in the face, you got it.
And I think it's got to be in that eye, one of those eyes, not the fucking beak. It's got one eye. You won't get both because they're on like
That's so true.
I'm glad you brought that up because I swear to God, it sounds like almost like a clean that guys on the road would say. But I swear to God, we even sat here before and talked about it, and I forgot we did that. So
we decided that the only way to take out an alligator is curb stomp them.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Good to know.
Called Wizard of Oz treatment. You know what I mean? Remember that? Callback. And to get that callback.
Yeah, check out our earlier episodes of Two Hippies.
Where we got the dog that was famously stomped to death during Wizard of
Oz. Boom. That was ridiculous. Anyway, so then we go down to the Key West, and I will say this: I splurged on this one. I wanted the Key West to be special. Key West is also very, very expensive to stay at, but I did not want to stay an hour away. I wanted to stay as close to fucking Last Island as I could. I wanted to get something different and surprise the guys, which I drunkenly let out of the bag at one point, which shock anyone that knows me. It's not like I'm a person who, when I'm drunk, I just say like secrets. But when I'm excited about things, then it's like I want to tell people secrets. I don't like happy things that I keep in. So anyway, I let the secret out that we're going to be staying on this, which was in this really cool, chill little harbor called Safe Harbor with a tiki bar / restaurant right by it. And I'll let you guys talk what you thought about that.
I thought it was awesome. It was on the water. We got to sunset. So anytime we weren't downtown or something, like we could watch the sunset from where we were staying. It was right next to that bar. And honestly, it wasn't like a situation where that bar's open till like 2. It really closed around like 10:30 or something. So
which was its only negative.
Positive in my mind if I want to sleep. Because I'll just go downtown if I want to hang out at a bar.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But it's cool that it was there. Like, honestly, had a couple beers there. That was pretty nice. Honestly, right on the water. Literally, you're sitting on the dock while you get your food and stuff, which was really cool. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. The weather was great. We had bikes.
I was going to get into the bikes. I was demanding you talk about my boat first.
Demanding I talk about the boat in specific.
No, I'm just kidding. Oh no, he's right though. So the thing that we did is, and I will say this was, I actually think Tyler's the one who first. I knew there was bikes that were a thing in the US. I knew that you could do bikes, but Tyler really looked into it, and we found a perfect situation where we could get 3 bikes for $10 a day. So we did that for 2 days, and they dropped them off right on our boat.
Yeah,
and we're 4 miles from like the downtown Key West, which is I didn't mind the drive in. The only thing was like the ride back after you've already been there. If you've had some beers and stuff. That one night we got an Uber because we didn't want to get a DUI on a bike. But having said that, the drive in, we all agreed really enjoyed riding our bikes into town and being able to like separately go on trips if we wanted to, because parking is really expensive down there too. So Go ahead. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, no. And that was awesome, honestly. Like, I loved, there's something really cool. People have been to Mackinac Island, I'm sure know the same thing. Like, it's fucking cool being in a nice area where you don't have to rely on a car and you can just kind of bike around and shit.
There is something about it, right? Like, isn't there something about that you could be like, you're in a regular road and you think it's almost like cool, like a stoplight happens and you're like, get your own end. I mean, they don't have stoplights on Mackinac Island, but in this setting, it reminded me of a time I went biking all around New York one time where it felt really badass to be like in Manhattan.
Yeah.
And like, there's something about in a setting too, where it's like, you're not like in Key West for sure. Like, yes, some cars hated you, but it's expected. There's bikes.
Yeah.
So it's like, it is a thing. It's not like they're like, what the fuck is this bike doing on the street?
And honestly, it didn't take that long to get really anywhere with them. Like,
no.
If you had to walk, it would have sucked. But like with the bikes, like you really get around that island pretty quick. We rode around it, I think, twice.
Yeah.
Like,
when we went there, and it was really easy to get around. Highly recommend getting a bike if you're in Key West.
I highly recommend going to Key West in general. It's the only place on this trip that I have I wasn't crying, but like when we were leaving, I had like that pit in my stomach, like I was leaving a vacation.
Yeah.
Which is, I know it sounds crazy because of what we're doing, but it's the only time on this trip that I personally, on my end anyway, can speak for myself, was very sad leaving. I know we haven't talked much about the Key West yet, but when you mentioned the bikes and stuff like that, it hit me saying that. So we get there on a Thursday night, which it worked out really well because we were kind of like, it took us 4 hours to get down there because of traffic. And we got there right in time for the sunset. The boat was really nice in the end. The air conditioning, there was for the guys unlucky, like I lucky enough, was able to sleep in the nice room with my personal air conditioning. It was a little crazy situation because you're on a boat with the air conditioning. But other than, if you took that out of it, the boat was awesome, right? Like other than that, would you have a real complaint?
I mean, yeah, the AC was pretty wild.
I was like, other than the AC,
it was like it definitely like blew like like a jet engine half the time. And when you turn it off, it was just real warm in there.
Go ahead.
See, I slept in the guest bedroom, and then you ended up sleeping in the living room both of those days.
Which, by the way, just shows you that the no offense, like the guest bedroom, the king room, you know. So
I had the king room.
The captain's quarters.
The old captain's quarters. Yes.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's funny. The air conditioning thing didn't really bother me at all. In fact, I even felt like kind of sleeping. It was super loud in that room, but it was kind of like a fan. I was pretty cool
It
with.
shook the whole room. I couldn't sleep in there.
My only complaint at all about the boat would have been pooping and showering.
Yeah,
Fair
that
enough.
that is a thing. I think but we were only there a few days. I really did just, and I know that's not what you're saying. I wanted specifically to do something very different for the Key West.
Yeah.
And in the end, based on my price range too, by the way, like it was still expensive, but like I was glad I chose that over like a hotel that was like North Key West. Like unless you were downtown, maybe it was cool having this thing that was like more low key, where like when we got back home, we could sit on the boat and have some beers and like the stars are out and stuff like that. And
absolutely.
So there was that. And so we got there Thursday. We enjoyed the nice sunset, as Tyler said. We a beautiful sunset that we got off the boat. Ate, and then Friday, we all went into town. We did the water thing. Went in the water.
Yeah, did like a scuba gear thing. Me and Eric saw a jellyfish.
Ooh.
Like straight up. No, thank you. Yeah, at least now I know you can tell if there's jellyfish around. Because I was always terrified that like
you wouldn't be able to see it, or
it's like invisible or something. But it's like, no, they're very clear. Stay away from them. But like you can tell, especially with that water, it was so clear.
Yeah, and somebody there also saw one thing I think we learned being in Florida in general is that like sharks are present.
You hear it. You hear it.
Yeah.
And you almost like, are they really though? And I mean, me and Tyler saw someone that saw a shark. Someone caught a shark off our pier, and not our pier, but like this pier that we were right by in Daytona.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy was a big guy. And I don't know how big the one was in the Key West, because me and Tyler someone just saw one. That someone was literally like away.
Yep.
The dude that caught the one in Daytona, that was probably 4 feet.
Yes. It was a hammerhead shark, man. Like it really like gets look at you.
They let us touch it. That was kind of
it was like sandpaper. It was the weird. I did not expect that at all.
And the other thing about that is like that's funny is that it was right off the dock. That means or the pier. Sorry, but like not that far off ashore. No. I mean there were
people in the water. Like,
oh yeah,
a lot of them.
Us at times. We were people in that water at times. I mean,
me and Eric actually didn't want to go further in the water because we were like, there might be sharks. Like, there might be sand. And there were. Worse too, because I looked that up. Like you were saying that they're will attack people. They do attack people.
Wow.
Hammerhead sharks attack people.
Oh my god.
So no thanks.
So we're down there in Key West. We did water. It was so hot. I will say this, Key West, I loved it, but because we're in this weird thing where we're not on vacation, we didn't fly down there just for this. So we're not like we've been waiting all month. It's like we're still been on the road and we're still tired at times, and then also getting used to literally 80 degrees. It's down. I mean, the Key West might as well. I mean, it's basically a tropical place. You're driving 2.5 hours off the coast of freaking Florida or south.
You're in the ocean, like I was saying before. Like you're not on the coast. Like it's
90 miles to Cuba, man.
And I will say
that's insane.
And there's definitely. It's so funny to me. Like you guys were saying that a lot. I feel like there's a 20-degree difference in how we experience temperature.
Yeah,
me and you guys. Because I hate the cold. I'm a baby about the cold. I do not fucking like the cold. If it's even a little bit cold, I'm like, this sucks. There was no point I did not love the weather in Key West. I was about it.
I should say this. I never hated it.
Yeah.
The only problem is for me, it drains me. It drained like that day that we did Friday. I like power forward to go to this one other bar because I wanted to see at one point a guy playing a guitar on the beach where I could have a beer, and I did accomplish that. But I was sitting there at like 2:30 in the afternoon, like ready to be done. Just like ready to fall asleep. And I went back and I tried to take a nap. I couldn't quite do it. So, it's not that I didn't like it, but it just affects me more than it affects you for sure, because it just drains me. And maybe at some point I would get used to it, but I hadn't at this point. So I went to this thing. You guys kind of drove around the island a little bit. We meet back up at the boat. And I was originally going to do a plan where I'm going to go to bed early today because I'm going to go hard on Saturday. But I started drinking, and then you guys were like, well, we're going to go down and do karaoke. And I'm like, I probably shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. But now I'm buzzed, and now I'm karaoke.
That sounds fun to me.
Right. And so this was the one time we did get an Uber because I just insisted. I was very sure that we could have ridden our bikes down there without an issue. I did not
I mean, it would have sucked hardcore if we had to ride our bikes back.
We didn't leave till like 3 a.m.
Yeah.
Right.
We would have done it, but yeah.
And here's the problem. I would not even be worried about actually doing it. I'm older at this point. Like, I'd been tired already. I didn't really take a nap. My worry was like, dude, I could stay up till 3 a.m. Although even that I didn't know I could, but I could do it.
Yeah.
But once I get riding that bike, I am gonna crash. Anyway, we took into town and we walked around Duval Street a little before we hit up karaoke, which is cool. Kind of a more island version of Bourbon Street in New Orleans.
Yeah, more island, more elderly.
Yes.
Like-
A middle-aged Bourbon Street. Middle-aged white Bourbon Street.
Yeah, I would say that.
Which
for
worked
sure.
perfect for me because I'm almost 38. So I'm kind of middle-aged and I am white. So it just secrets out, you know what I mean? But so we ended up hitting this karaoke place, which was really cool. And then I don't know, I almost would have, should I explain this part of it or should one of you
I can do it.
Yeah, I almost think Scott might explain the story better. Well, let me say this. I'll start the first part and then I'll have you. So we are about to go in, and this is one of these weird butterfly effect things to me. I swear to God, I and you can disagree. Tell me your thoughts on this, but I think this is a very almost like butterfly effect thing because we're about to walk in, and you guys decide to have a smoke outside or whatever.
Yes.
And I go, okay, I'll go in, get a beer, and I'll wait for them. I did not sitting at the bar. I just was waiting for a beer. I went up to the bar waiting for a beer, and a young lady, let's just say her name was Ann Yell. Came up to me and she had been singing and started talking to me, and I am not used to a woman like making the first move, and all of a sudden after a minute I'm like, I think this girl's flirting with me, and I'm like, holy shit. But like, if you guys had not had that smoke, we would have walked in, I would have got 3 beers, and we would have sat at a table. I really think it might have been different. And I'm going to let Scott explain some of the rest because I think you're a better storyteller in this sense than I am. And you're a third party person.
Yeah. So we come in, and honestly, like she was somewhat wasted. So she was somewhat.
How dare you?
She was definitely drinking.
She was hammered.
She was hammered.
She was
But
drunk
she
as
was
fuck.
she was very clearly like it took 2 seconds. We're like, oh, I think Eric's hitting it off with
No,
that girl.
literally like, oh, good for him, man. Like, we
Yeah.
really want this to happen. Go get him, Eric.
Yeah, yeah.
Go
Like,
get him.
just the body language was very positive.
Yeah,
like
she's
it was
putting
like,
her arm on his chair,
Yeah,
legs
yeah.
on his seat at the bottom. Like, it was like, oh, this girl
And
is
Tyler and I are
into him.
sitting there like, is something gonna happen? Like, what's going on? Wow, this was fast.
And you know what really, the funny thing about me is I'm so stupid with this stuff that even when that was going on, I still was like, I'm really weird when it comes to talking to girls in a bar, because if I wasn't drunk yet, well, actually I was, that's what's weird about it. But like, I still think, even though she was very much talking to me, I was like, okay, well, I don't want to look weird. Don't look too desperate. Don't interact too much. Play it cool. But she was like, I mean, she was kind of, she was
moving in.
Okay.
She was moving
there we
in.
go.
She was moving in.
So
She
that-
definitely was.
So they come up to us at one point. You're like, "Hey guys, like, what's going on?" And we're like, "I think that girl's hitting on you." And you're like, she already said she has a boyfriend.
Right. And the thing was, okay, whatever. And I said, like, I didn't know what. Here's the thing. I didn't know what to do, because on the same hand, like, she said she has a boyfriend, but I mean, I have never had a person, in my opinion, show me more sign that like something could happen than I don't think I've ever had it.
Yeah.
That like, I've never to a point where it's like
We noticed.
Yeah,
It was like subtle at all.
Yeah, it wasn't like I came back to you guys.
Whispering in his ear. She was putting her arm around him. Like, it was clear.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like one of these situations where I go back to you guys and go, dude, she said she had a boyfriend, but I think I still got a chance or something.
Yeah.
You're like, God, dude, no, like she, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
you weren't like, it wasn't like I wasn't, if anything, you guys were like, no, dude, she's definitely hitting on you or
Yeah,
something.
for
Like,
sure.
like I was looking for you guys to almost tell me I was wrong.
No.
And then at one point, Tyler was like, "Where do you think her boyfriend is?" I was like, "Somewhere fucking up."
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know where.
And so like I didn't really know what to do, and I don't know, I just didn't know what to do. So we kind of kept talking, and I luckily on my end I never bought an alcoholic beverage or anything. I didn't spend any money on this date, as it were. But
That's good.
But we I just kept talking to her, and I didn't really know what to do, because it's like I don't know. She's really like Tyler. She's like touching me and shit. Even like it's not just kind of like
a little,
but on the same end, then she would like see you guys. I'd look over you guys because mainly I'd look over you guys going, "What do I do?" And she'd be like, "Go with your friends. Go with your friends if you want." I was like, "No, I'm good."
I'm confused about this situation.
This might be a little bit weird to explain over audio, but there was a moment like I wish an optical illusion happened that I actually don't think I ever even explained to you, Eric.
Oh boy!
But like you had your leg around your other leg, wrapped around your other leg under the stool.
Yeah.
Because of how she was sitting, Tyler and I both thought her leg was wrapped around your leg. And we're like, okay, if that's the case, then boyfriend or not, they're fucking.
Yeah.
Like, they're
going home tonight. Like, he's going home with us.
Somewhere.
And then so we're like, okay, well that happened. And then like a minute or two later, Tyler was like, no, wait, let's watch his leg or whatever.
But I will tell you, like, she 100% at times was like touching my leg even and shit. Like, it wasn't anyway. So these guys kind of ended up leaving, and I really didn't know what to do. I've never been so confused in my life as far as this situation. And I get confused regularly when it comes to the feministas. And so
the fair sex,
as it were. And so they leave, and then like she ends up like taking me to another bar, buying me drinks. By the way, she bought me several alcoholic beverages. Yeah. And then she kept saying things like, even at one point, she's like trying to smoke. She's like, I need to smoke. She's like, I just feel like I need to get out of here and go on a walk or something. I'm like, yeah, sounds good. And it's like, I kept saying, but I wasn't even being overly aggressive. I mean, I was kind of just like, I was still waiting for her to kind of be like, so I know I said I had a boyfriend, but still, you know, we have an open relationship or what.
So I where did this night leave? Because we did leave. We went to go look for another place. But
and so she took me to another bar and bought me a drink. She bought me a beer and like a freaking shot, which I don't do shots, but whatever. And then we walked.
Did you do the shot?
It was one. No, you know what? It was one of these ones where you put it in a thing and it tastes like Dr. Pepper.
Like Irish car bombs.
Yes, but this one like literally tasted like Dr. Pepper.
Okay.
So I actually did do it because it didn't taste like alcohol to me. And so then we start leaving, and we're walking, and now she puts her arm around, grabs my hand, and then like puts her literally like locks her arm with my arm, and I start talking to her and stuff, and then
like a guy and a girl going on like a whole like
like as if you were with your girlfriend, and then I said something else. And because I was being a little awkward about it, and then she decides to go like, I'm not gonna fuck you, you know. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know what to do about this. You're like, and then we went a little longer, or no, you know what? I forgot about that was after that. That was after this, because then what happened was she did that. Then I finally just decided, and this takes a lot for me to do. These guys have said no, and anyone that knows me knows I am not an aggressive person when it comes to the fair sex, as Tyler said. And I just fucking tried to kiss her finally. And then she was like, whoa, you know, I'm not going to fuck you and all. And like, I was told her, like, I had no idea what was going on here to me. Like, you're buying me drinks, you're touching me, you're grabbing my arm and stuff. Like, I know
you're leaving the bar with me.
At like 1 in the morning at this point. We're not talking 7 at night for dinner or something. No. And she's just like, I'm not gonna find. I didn't know what to say. Then she started rambling on at one point about like, she asked me if I was happy, and this was an interesting. I told those guys. So she was like, "Are you happy with your life?" And me not really. I think if you're a guy trying to manipulate and just, you know what I mean, you could have been like, "Well, yeah, you know, but I could be nicer if I had that special son." I just go, no, I'm very happy. And she's like, yeah, me too. And I'm like, okay, wow, who are you trying to prove? And then eventually she still said she was going to walk me back to you guys, though. She's like, well, I don't want you to walk back alone, even after I tried to kiss her and all this whole situation.
Walk you back alone? Why? Like, that makes no sense to me.
And then she gets a call from her said boyfriend, her former boyfriend. And she's like, I know. She gets a call, talks to him for a few minutes, a very contentious conversation, I might add. By the way,
I bet. What the fuck is she doing?
Sounded like a person on the other end who was not too pleased that once again his lady was drunk down in Duval. By the way, like when you live in Key West, because they lived there, I don't think you go to the Duval Street every Friday night. You know, it might be a thing you do once a month or something. It's the phone call, and then pretty soon a lift is just there for her. Yeah. She did not get that lift. She told someone where she was, and then a lift was there, and then she's just out the window going, bye, Eric, bye, Eric. And I'm like, well, you didn't walk me back to my friends, bitch. Like,
yeah. What about that one?
That was the whole thing. So there was that. And you know what's funny? And I want you to tell the other story now, just because of how it goes. I feel less bad about that one because I at least kind of made him felt like I tried. Then another situation that came up about a half an hour later, where these guys were like, "Oh yeah, that girl was looking to get laid," and I didn't see it, and I just kept making dumb jokes to make them laugh. And you want to explain this situation?
Yeah. So a not very attractive.
I disagree.
Older lady.
She was an attractive older lady, but she had to be like 60.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Maybe my drunk. You know what? When you're telling this, it's maybe making me feel better because maybe my drunk eyes. Because I woke up the next morning and they're like, "Oh yeah, that girl wanted to get fucked," and I started getting really mad at myself.
You gotta keep in mind, like we said, it was literally a situation. Like I'm not trying to blow it out of proportion, but she came over. She doesn't even know us. She starts talking to us. She's kissing us on the cheek and stuff.
I didn't see that part.
Anybody could have just started making out with her, and she would have rolled with it.
If I would have known that or sensed that, I wouldn't have. I would have probably, honestly, I would have tried harder. Instead, what I did is these guys, she started talking to us just really to us. Like we didn't start any conversation. And I just started saying very sarcastic.
Opposite of whatever she
anything she said, I just went with the really down here for, what.
At one point, you guys were debating the JFK assassination. And I was like, what is happening?
And I full on, like, remember, wasn't I just full on like 100% Oswald killed him?
Just did it.
No question in my mind. I didn't even. I think I told her like I didn't even realize people thought other things. And so I just kept hammering.
But I said something about 9/11. Real mad.
Yeah, she had like a brother that almost died in 9/11, and I basically went on saying it wasn't even real, and that only thing goes. Her brother was in the Pentagon, and I'm like, I've never seen any footage of that. And I did see. It's funny in this instance. I did the normal thing I do in my life, which read the situation horribly wrong. Because honestly, I would have, after getting rejected by that other girl, if I was like you guys and read the situation like you guys would have, I would have just said whatever I needed to say. But I would have been like, yeah, absolutely.
You didn't have to say anything. You could have just started kissing.
Well, I didn't know that.
Like, that was literally.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. And so that happened. Do you have anything else to add to that story, Tyler?
I don't believe so.
We did some more.
Go ahead. Having read the situation correctly, there was a moment I considered it. Like her boobs did look good in that whatever season.
You really think she was like 60ish? Is that what you guys both? Holy shit!
Yeah.
See again, my
Or a hard fit.
She looked fit. I'm gonna say I did not. I was like, thank you. she was a hot mess.
Doesn't matter.
Absolutely
Yeah.
hot.
It doesn't matter. You have more
"Ah,
standards than I do.
Not so much.
No, you do have higher standards than me. I'll say that. I think that's a good thing in reality.
Yeah.
But I would have, if I had read the situation that you guys were, I would have gone for
I would have rooted for you.
I get it. So we went from that to another. We'll get into. It was so funny. We went to karaoke after that as well. We did karaoke attempts recently, and we went to this other place that didn't start till midnight. And was that a shit show?
No, for real. That guy running it had no idea what he was doing. He was letting everybody walk up, and people were taking like 15 minutes to sign their name in and shit. Like instead of being like, no, come to the side so other people can look at your one book with no fucking like
laminated paper.
Laminated paper.
Like
it's just paper. So
which
like
I ended up
rip
breaking
them out. Yeah.
And he got mad at you for ripping it.
Well, no, because he told me while I was trying to look through pages, he's like, "Be careful with her. She's already almost falling apart." I'm like, "Well, that's not my fucking job.
Yeah, dude, this is your job.
I'm just a guy who's coming up to." And I get what he's saying, like, but usually with fucking karaoke, I mean, you've done it. You guys are even like experts. I do it a lot too, though. Yeah. I've been able to go to a karaoke machine, play books before, by the way, and flip like 10 pages in a row. Like I've never had anything.
You would expect to be able to flip karaoke book
rather fast. So I expect you to have to do it gingerly, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And I get it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm drunk. It's like 1 a.m. But that's who does. But he's at a karaoke bar that didn't even start till midnight. So what do you expect? And you're in fucking Duval Street in Key West. Do you think people are sitting there one by one going,
no.
"Oh, what do we have here?"
You're starting a show at midnight. It's not top game.
You know what I mean? Tyler, one of these, like, they're in.
One time,
Yeah.
one at a time.
No, and it was both simultaneously. The people who were there were awful, and the guy running the queue was incompetent.
Yeah, and he was like a nice guy, but he
Yeah.
was incompetent, and he did not have a handle on the room at all.
No.
Yeah.
And then the funny thing was, imagine if that room was an actual crowd. There really was 5 or 6 people even trying to sing, and he couldn't handle it. Like in a way, like
To be fair, it was annoying, but Scott did get low, and we brought in a bachelorette party.
Yeah,
we came in to twerk for our song.
100%. I need to get
that was cool.
And then immediately left, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, because the bar had no atmosphere.
No.
That's the problem. That was the problem. So we did.
It was
go
one
ahead.
confused, incompetent man in a top hat.
Yes. Which,
like running karaoke, and then like 4 disinterested people like sitting at the booths waiting. For
one girl who took 20 minutes to take a fucking number or pick a song, then gets up on stage whilst singing, answers her cell phone.
Literally.
I've never seen somebody answer their phone in the middle of a karaoke song.
And just left her boyfriend fucking hanging.
Oh, I know. And it was like a duet.
Yeah. They were doing a duet. He's still trying to sing it. She's like, hello? Wow. Okay, well, we're down by like blah, 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 or whatever. He's like singing next to her.
Oh, my God. Wow, it's already 30. We're rocking and rolling. So we end up like, then we get a very late Uber ride home. We get to the boat at like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
Holy. And then that was fun. Waking up the next day. Shockingly, none of us really had a hangover.
I was tired.
Tired.
That's about it.
Yeah, tired, but not a hangover. And then we had probably our most fun day on the Key West that day. In the end, we just really, and something I'll get into it sometime. At some point, some of my anxiety with, but I have a hard time relaxing. In a sense, I try to set things up. I try to be that person. This day where I finally had this moment where I just sat, I'm like, dude, I'm on a fucking boat in the Key West. Just sit here and have fun. And that's what we did. We all finally just sat around, took a nap, really like got lunch on the island. Lazy day. Biked in. Tyler found a really cool place through a friend he has that gave us an awesome Sloppy Joe sandwich.
Yeah. Sloppy Joe's.
He's
really good. That fucking ass. So we had to deal with this douchebag stealing our table.
There we go.
Like this guy was so frustrated.
Here, let me explain this real fast. Yeah. So we go into Sloppy Joe's, and it's I'm just gonna set up the base, and I'll let you guys kind of talk about it because I think you can do it better. But some of it, like we go into this spot, it's a seat yourself situation. It's rather packed. I get it. Saturday night in the Key West, and we go up to this table, and then I'm going to let you guys kind of tell this because I think you guys tell it a little better.
I mean, I walked up to the table. Scott was like, hey, they're getting up. They're paying right now. And I'm like, okay, I'll go walk by their table. This fat asshole, like, I'm already there. And he walks in between me and the table.
You say all three of us are
there, by the way.
Yeah.
Standing over
I
the
was
table.
like the closest.
Yes.
And I will say, in that moment, you saw him coming and you tried to take charge by being like, hey,
I walked up to the people, and I was like, hey, are you guys leaving soon? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, no rush, guys. Like, and they're like, we're leaving right now.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, cool.
And this time, I'll tell these guys, like I told these guys afterwards, because I think Scott saw it, but I don't know that I saw this guy walking up and then stand in front of me and go, this motherfucker.
Oh, I saw him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Tyler maybe didn't see him approaching, probably, is my guess.
Yeah.
Okay, then you did. But yeah, so me and Scott saw him, like, I saw this guy walking up, like, this motherfucker is about to pretend. I've never in my life, I'm just a person, we're all 3 very courteous people. I would never conceive if I saw 3 people standing by a table pull this off. Like, I'll give him that, I guess. His fat fuck ass got some balls.
And it turned out, I mean, we didn't really let it go into an argument.
No, yeah. I was like, dude, you're not sitting here. Because when they left, he literally was like, oh, well, my wife's coming over. And we're like, who cares? Like, we were waiting. And he was like, I saw, and we were waiting too. And it's like, no, dude, we walked up to this table. I asked those people if they were leaving. Yeah. This whole thing was us. You slid your fat ass in.
Tyler and I both are just like laying this. When you're
leaving.
wrong, no, you're like, that's not what happened or whatever. So eventually, I don't know. I think just probably you ended up coming back.
No, that's
but
what
for
I was, no.
some
Here's what I was
reason
going to
you
say.
walked
I
away.
am the least confrontational person you'll ever meet. I hate confrontation.
Yeah, I just called him rude.
Right,
and
he called him
walked
rude.
away.
But before I even walked away, I said, "You're wrong," and I walked away. Then they kind of went at it a little bit. I circled around the outside of the restaurant, came back, and then she said, "FYI, you're wrong, dude, and you know you're wrong." And he just said, Luckily, car wins, and we found a better table after that.
Near the music.
High top,
Yep.
near the music. Sorry, Scott had something to say too.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, I would like to believe that if nothing else, we did put a damper on his whole night there.
Oh, yeah.
Because between Tyler and I immediately talking to him and Tyler trying to like take charge and get the table originally, like that was an uncomfortable, shitty situation.
Yeah.
You walked back and you said that to him, and not my proudest, not my most dignified moment, but
I'm a
respect
fan.
it.
I'm
as
a
we
fan.
left, I walked past him again, and he's taking some spit selfie, and I was like, "Fat cunt," and just like walked.
And what's
past
funny
him.
about that is, and I'd like to tell the other part, I almost said something. I almost said, FYI, buddy, worked out better for us. We got a nicer table. Have a good night, asshole. But Tyler said, or Scott said that, and Tyler was like going to the bathroom or was kind of doing something.
Yeah, I went to the bathroom.
There we go. And so we're waiting out a little bit, and all of a sudden Scott, because I didn't hear what Scott had said, and Scott tells me, like, dude, we got to kind of move out of the foyer here. Like, let's move out of the entrance a little bit. Like, I just kind of leaned to that dude's table and let him know what I thought about him. Again, by the way.
Yeah.
And if you're a fat fuck, if you're out there, we did get a better table. And yes, you were wrong. You piece of shit.
Yeah, you dumb piece of shit.
And your wife was not even attractive.
Yeah.
No, nor were you.
Nor were you.
Anyway, so we do, that was our Saturday night. And then we got to do a cool thing on me and my little Jimmy Buffett tour where I did the bad part first and the good part first and the bad part second. And we went to Captain Joe's, which was really, or Captain, not Captain Joe's, Captain Tony's. To Captain Tony's. Anyone that knows Jimmy Buffett knows. And that was cool. I got to see Captain Tony's. Unfortunately, we post about it, and afterwards we find out information like apparently it's haunted, and the girls gravesite, but like that's like where she haunts or something. Or no, the girl's
Her gravestone is in the pool.
That's what it is. So the women's bathroom is haunted. Her gravestone is in the pool table. It was a very wild and cool bar. I think Tyler was pretty impressed. Like it was kind of.
They had a tree growing through it.
Right.
It was freaking awesome.
Right.
And I loved it was probably the only bar we've been to where I'm like, the aesthetic is worth coming to see.
Yeah, for sure. And it was just like, it was cool for me because like I mentioned, it's mentioned kind of in a Jimmy Buffett song. Famously also Hemingway was there, and also famous bar in Florida, for example. So like 1930s has been there since. So that's pretty cool. And then unfortunately we did the bad part second and went to Margaritaville, Jimmy Buffett's restaurant, which is, oh my Lord, geriatric central.
Yeah.
Christ.
Some old people in there, if I would say so. And it's empty. It was very empty.
And I say this, the guy singing was actually kind of talented. Tyler had a few things that he was like doing where he's like, that's actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
I would think they would have, you don't have to play all Jimmy Buffett songs in Margaritaville. They like mostly island-ish songs, you'd feel like.
They're playing covers of
right.
other stuff. Yeah.
What was it, like the one song? I even like that song, but I'm trying to think. But
he played one by The Weeknd. He won. I can't remember the other ones.
Yeah.
I remember the Weeknd one.
But it was
like, that's so weird for here.
Yeah, and I'm like I said, I don't expect him to sing Margaritaville nonstop, but you'd think it would kind of be an island theme at least.
Yeah, not so much. I mean, he was, not a huge fan of that. Margarita was okay, overpriced.
Oh, yeah, not a shot. And the food, by the way, anyone eating food there, like I was only going there kind of to say I went, get a beer at Jimmy Buffett's restaurant.
Oh, go to Sloppy Joe's is way better.
Yeah,
and
cheaper and better for sure.
Yeah, and if you see a fat cunt in a Hawaiian shirt there,
slap him in the face.
Yeah, there's no fat guys in Hawaiian shirts in Key West.
Yeah,
you'll find the only
them all.
one.
They all deserve it.
An interesting thing that we ended up getting a picture of, by the way, later in the evening was this famous is the southernmost point of America, and they have this big thing. Anyone that's ever been to Key West or seen people post Key West pictures, you usually see it. What's so interesting about it is, like, in the end, it's a very touristy spot, which that doesn't shock me either. But it's not like down this long pier. It's in this one little corner, and there's like up at home, it's 50 people in line waiting to take your photo. We were there at literally 11 o'clock on a Saturday night, and there was still people there taking photos. was
in a
almost
line.
right.
People, but it was still people in a line taking photos at this like giant butt plug.
Yeah, that is. It very much so looked like a giant cement butt plug.
Yeah, very much so.
And I wanted to say one thing real quick. If I don't know, I think he does listen to these sometimes, but there was a guy named Mark, that a listener of the Detroit cast, that hit me up in US. Oh my God, he hit me up just about an hour too late, dude. I can't believe something. I really appreciate that. And if I come down again, I'll see you. But I know that sounds dumb, but I wanted to say it. And then we had one of Tyler's favorite moments of Key West after that, and there's the bike ride home. And I'll let you talk about that a little bit.
No, I just thought it was awesome. It was beautiful. The moon was out. It was warm. Like we were literally on the coast the entire time going back to the boat. It was a really fun time. We took our time too on the way back, and it was just a nice, easygoing bike ride.
The moon
at,
was
like,
so
midnight,
out. Yeah.
and in Key West. And it was, the moon, the stars. Like we walked out to a couple different piers. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely was.
Yeah, that's it.
And what I'm going to say, by the way, in the end here is I am
Like
going
Key
to,
West.
we got home. We actually bought, you bought, so we only had one beer left, and we all were kind of like, it wasn't that late. It was like a midnight. And, I planned like my night of like real debauchery, which turned out to be the night before. So we wanted like just one more boat while the moon was out and stuff. And there's a place called Tom Thumb that was less than a half a mile from there. But like they always have cops, out there looking at people. And I'm the one who goes there. Like, if you drive up there, we'll pay for the beer. We'll pay for the 6-pack. And I go up there and I see a cop sitting right out there. I'm like, I almost didn't go in. I told these guys, like, I almost didn't go in. And you know what I did, by the way? I didn't tell you guys I did this. And because this is the most suspicious thing you can do when you're trying to do something that you're already nervous about. I was coming up to the Tom Thumb and I saw that there was like a cop across the street. And I pulled my car over across the road, or my bike, which is a keyword. At least it was a bike. But my bike across the street, and to pretend that I was taking a phone call, was trying to decide if I was going to go in or not.
Eric will be doing something he's completely allowed to do and act the most suspicious anybody has ever acted.
That's so true.
Why don't you explain to me getting a free turkey sandwich?
Yeah, we got a
free.
Sorry.
So there is a fast. We'll share this with you at one point. We're still kind of trying to keep it a secret because we discovered this thing. Yeah. There is a fast
one
food
of the fast food, one of them out there
that has not realized that their free sandwiches are never ending.
Yeah.
If you use,
I'm going to say this.
Correct.
I'm just going to say this. If you do it right, in reality, you can keep getting free sandwiches. What about that? We'll just say that. Yep. If you do it right, you can keep getting sandwiches.
And we realized this a while ago. Tyler and I are on our multiple. We've done multiple free sandwiches at this point.
It was my first
this
today.
Is Eric's first. I go up there. I get my ill-gotten free sandwich. Eric, and I'm like, hey, yep, I just got the free sandwich. Okay, yep, this is my phone number. Great. Then Eric walks up. He's like, hey, I'm supposed to get a free sandwich. I got my name. I got my phone number right here.
Here's my social security card.
Yeah. Whatever you need.
And then like looking away. If you don't have it, it's fine. Whatever. I mean,
and this fat, cross-eyed teenagers. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm the most nervous. At times, like I'm the most outgoing. Like will jump off of like whatever. And at times, I'm the most paranoid person in the planet.
Yes.
For things that I should, like he said, things I should be paranoid about, I'll just whatever. And things that I should have no right to be paranoid about, I'll be like. I'm like, oh my God, what if something goes wrong? They know what I'm doing. Anyway, I get my beer. I survive. We have a few beers on the boat. We end our time. That morning we wake up. As I said, I end up sleeping on top of the boat, which is kind of cool. I slept on a roof of our boat. I slept outside, something I enjoy doing.
It is. I'm sorry, just about the free sale.
Yeah.
Like, don't want to say where it is, but let's just say they were playing checkers and we were playing chess.
I would have not done that if I were you, to be honest with you.
The four people are just going to make me get a free sandwich.
I know. I wouldn't have. Well, now I'm making it worse.
We're not going to shut down this establishment.
You're right.
We're not going to shut it down. And if we do, then it's just going to make us more famous.
We're on a real free sandwich rally, you could say.
Oh, my God, you fucking asshole.
It's been a race to those preseasons.
Okay, that's it. By the way, we've gone long anyway, to be honest with you. I'm not going to do Daytona. Key West was too much, and it was awesome. I want to go back so bad. Guys, as I mentioned before, we have the Venmo, Eric, ERIC, F as in Frank, ADIE. We do 3 shows a week. We're going to start doing, Scott has started doing daily updates on what we're doing. Tyler's going to start putting art out once a week. I do my little funny videos. If you find any of those shows entertaining, plus our 2 Hippies, 1 Drunk on Wednesday, my Big E comedy venture on Monday, all I've kind of asked is possibly throw us $1 a week. You know, certainly you can just give us like 20 and be like, hey, that's good for 20 weeks, whatever you want to do. We'd really appreciate that, but no pressure at all. If you cannot afford to give, or just for whatever reason, I totally understand that. Sharing the things that we do, little videos that we record, art that Tyler does, anything that we do as far as that, rating us 5 stars, even if you just go to our Spotify or wherever you listen and give us a 5-star rating. Things like that are things that can help even without giving money. So we'd really appreciate that. We're not going to do Daytona. We've already spent we spent 50 minutes on Key West, basically. So we'll hit Daytona and other things next. I probably might do some of that on my Big E comedy venture on Monday. Thank you so much for listening, guys. Have a good evening.
See ya.